Hi, my name is Nicole and welcome back to another flow. For today's flow, I'm going to be taking you through an entire flow based on the pose Wild Thing. So that is the peak pose today, that is the center focus of today's flow. I really love Wild Thing pose for a couple different reasons. I grew up a dancer, so it feels like such a performative kind of dancing, fluid-like motion that I truly enjoy. On another aspect of Wild Thing pose, I find it such a beautiful stretch for the chest, the shoulders. It's strengthening. It's beautifully, like, I feel like you can feel that energy starting from the base of the spine all the way up through and shooting through that hand that stays out. So for that reason, I truly do love Wild Thing pose. I think it makes someone so happy to just attempt and try. So that is the theme of today's pose. If you want to take it a step further, the theme is happiness, the theme is joy, and just movement and joy. So without further ado, we are going to begin and get started. So we are going to begin an easy pose, hands placed on the knees, sitting up nice and tall. And again, as always, if you have a little bit of curvature in the upper spine from rounding, sitting at computers, posture, you can squeeze those shoulder blades together just to invite in that nice straight spine. So as we sit in this seated easy pose, I'll invite you to close your eyes for a moment and just focus on the breath for a little bit, right? I want your focus of your class today, and of course you can have another intention if you'd like, but the reason that I created this flow is to have fun with our movement, enjoy our movement, and take time out of our days to feel joy. I find that this flow can be a little childlike, so I find it's really wonderful for that inner child, really healing for that as well. So if any feelings like that come up for you today during your practice, just know that you're safe here. You're safe here, and use these poses and this breath to really flow through all those emotions, really keeping it fluid. So we're going to focus on, again, breathing in and out through the nose, focusing on how excited we are to find joy in our movement today, and just have fun with it. That's really the point of this all. We're going to have a lot of fun with today's movement and just see how our body shows up in these poses without any expectations, judgments, or anything like that. So one more deep breath in. Amazing. We'll begin this 30-minute flow with an inhale with the hands up all the way up overhead. And as we exhale, we're going to bring the left hand to the right knee, right hand comes behind. Looking over that right shoulder, we're going to hold here for 3 deep breaths. Seated nice and tall again. Very good. As we inhale, come back up to center. We're going to switch sides with the right hand coming to the left knee, left hand coming behind the back. Looking over that left shoulder, 3 more breaths. Amazing. Inhaling right back up to center and exhaling, both hands down to the legs. We're actually going to flip it over onto our hands and knees into our tabletop. Our shoulders are over our elbows and they're over our wrists. Knees are under the hips, and the feet are pointed directly towards the bottom of the mat behind us. And we're pressing into the mat to create this really lovely straight spine. We're going to, on inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, big breath in. Exhale, round, contract through the spine, tucking that chin into the chest, and inhaling to come back to drop the belly. Exhaling to round, very great. You're going to take 3 more of these at whatever pace you like, and again, in that theme of kind of finding joy in movement, don't be afraid to add whatever you'd like to these poses. You can do some circles if you want, kind of make it like a little dance, make it fluid, whatever you're thinking. All right, after that last one, coming back to tabletop, left hand will stay on the mat, right hand shoots up to the sky if able, and exhale, threaded under the left. Left hand comes up to the top of the mat as you rest your head onto that mat and hold here 3 deep breaths. Inhale to bring that left hand back, push up, come back to tabletop, and we're gonna switch sides. So left hand comes up, thread it under that right arm comes up to the top of the mat, holding 3 deep breaths. Very good. Coming back to center, pressing up to come back to that lovely tabletop position. We're going to take kind of a powerful pose here, or an empowering kind of pose. So we are going to try, we're just going to try to hover in our tabletop. So what we're going to do to begin is we're going to engage the core. Now when I say engage the core, I mean pretending as if someone's going to just touch your little belly, right? If you see someone coming to touch your belly, you're going to kind of tense up just a little bit, right? So we want that solid core here. That's where a lot of the power for this pose is going to drive. Again, keeping those hands and feet in that tabletop position we talked about earlier. You're going to tuck the toes, and when you're ready, on the count of 3, we're going to lift the knees ever so slightly to hover, and we're going to hold for 10 seconds, okay? So 1, 2, 3, inhale up, hold, 10, 9, keep breathing, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, keep breathing, 2, and 1, tap, untuck. Very, very good. We're going to do that one more time. So we're going to do another 10 seconds. Take a cleansing breath, and when you're ready, tuck the toes. Count of 3, we inhale to lift. 1, 2, and 3, hover, hold, 10, 9, 8, 7, you got this, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Tap it down, back to the floor. Untuck those toes. If you want to tap them out just a little bit, it's totally all right. And from here, we're going to bring the hands forward just a little bit more. Tucking the back toes again, we're going to lift the hips and come into our first downward facing dog. Sending those hips up and back. The head is glancing down towards the toes. We hold here just a couple breaths. I'll invite you to again play with your poses. So if you'd like, you can paddle out the feet, kind of move the hips if you want just a little bit, bringing the chest to each knee that bends as you go, really getting a deep stretch here. We're just going to hold again. One more deep breath as we continue to hold this downward facing dog, and then come back to neutral. Perfect. Let's lift the right leg up on inhale to our 3-legged dog, and try to stack the hips here, bend at the knee, get a nice little hip stretch. One big breath here. Good, and then as you breathe, guide this knee forward and step that right foot in between the toes, come into runner's lunge. If you'd like, you can have your blocks here. The blocks are really great to give you that little bit of extra support, a little bit of a higher elevation for the hands. Take a little bit of stress off those hands, those shoulders, the wrists. Otherwise, we are here in this runner's lunge. We're going to take it to high lunge, okay? So remember what I said about engaging that core earlier? We're going to do that same thing, okay? So engage that core. You can even have a slight bend in that back left leg if you'd like, if you feel a little bit more power. Grounded down through the entire 4 corners of this right foot. When you're ready, knees over ankle, inhale, up, push. It's okay if you wobble, it's okay if you move. Come into that high lunge. You're doing amazing, Brett. We're here for just 2 more breaths. Reaching those fingers up if you want, or shrugging the shoulders down. Again, you're invited to play here. On the exhale, you're going to bring those hands behind the back towards the tailbone, pulling the shoulders down and away from your ears. You're going to gently open the chest here, just a little bit, right? And then once we're there, you're going to dive. So you have options. So you can come and rest your shoulder on this front knee, if you'd like. You can extend the arms behind you, or you can take a full dive here, plant this left foot firmly on the ground, and bring your head low to the ground as you pull your hands up and away from that tailbone. You can hold whichever version feels good for you. 3 deep breaths. Keep that knee in alignment over your ankle, a reminder for myself and you as well. And on the exhale, hands come back down to the floor, coming back to that runner's lunge. On inhale, you're going to step that right foot back, come into a plank pose. Once we're here, we're not going to stay in this plank long. We're going to rotate our bodies to the right, keeping this right arm here. Left leg is going to come to rest on the right, and we're going to bring the left hand up to come into side plank, okay? This may be a little bit difficult, so if you'd like, you can keep this left leg on the mat here and come into plank this way, okay? Whichever way you choose, we're in side plank, one more breath. Very good, and then return to regular plank. Good. We're gonna come into wild thing. So for wild thing, you're gonna keep, I'm gonna scooch over a little bit so I have room. You're gonna keep your right hand on the floor, and you're going to come into that same motion we just did. So you're going to start to rotate your body. However, once you get to side plank, you're gonna keep going. Left foot is gonna step. Right foot is going to extend, okay? Once you're here, left hand is gonna come up and over. You're gonna press the hips towards the ceiling. The head is hanging slightly. The chest is pushing towards the ceiling. Hold here, 2 more breaths. The left leg is bent. You can come up onto your toes if you want a little bit more challenge. And when you're ready, 1 more breath. Good, inhale, turn back to plank pose, shoot it up to downward facing dog. Exhale, drop the knees to the mat, wide, big toes touch, send the hips back, child's pose. Very well done. That pose isn't easy. Those poses aren't easy, so if you tried to get into that pose, if you made it work for you and your body, congratulations. We're gonna rest here for about 6 deep breaths. So just keep breathing. And then after those breaths, we're going to do the same flow on the other side. Maybe just thank your body here for showing up today for practice and giving it your all. I mean, again, this pose is not simple. Remind yourself that you're here to find joy in the movement. So don't worry about if the pose was perfect or not perfect. I mean, mine was definitely wobbly. But I had fun doing it, and that's all we're here to do today, is have fun with our movement and know that movement and health shouldn't be a punishment. We get to do these things. We get to try these fun things and see what our body can do, you know? And that's the point of all this, it's just to find joy in that. 1 more deep breath. All right, lift the head, walk the hands in. Maybe do a couple neck rolls really quick or some hip circles. And when you're ready, I'm going to meet you back in downward facing dog. Okay, so we're not going to hang out as long in this down dog since we were just here and we held it for a pretty good amount of time. So we're going to go straight to 3-legged dog where we inhale, lift that left leg up, stack the hips, bend that left knee, get a nice deep hip opener, 1 breath. And then as you inhale, guide that knee forward, nice and slow with control, step through the feet, look forward. Well, not like, don't crunch your neck, just gaze forward as you come into runner's lunge, okay? We're not staying here for long, we're gonna go straight to high lunge. Engage that core, knees over the ankle, slight bend in the back leg. When you're ready, up. Very good. High lunge, 3 deep breaths. And if keeping the hands up isn't something you're enjoying, you can always bring them to the heart center, bring them to the hips. You know, you have a lot of options there. You can give yourself a hug even if you wanted to. Whatever feels good. And 1 more breath here. Very good. Exhale, lower the hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers the opposite way this time. So maybe the opposite thumb is on top instead. When you're ready, whatever you did on the other side, we're going to do on this side. So gently start to pull those hands away from the spine and dive. Holding however you choose, 3 deep breaths. If you need a little bit more support, as always, plant that foot on the ground, pointing the toes towards the right side of the mat. Very good. Exhale, plant the palms to the floor, turn the back toes forward, and then on the inhale, step it back to come to your plank pose, pressing into those heels, trying to keep pressing from the mat, not sinking the booty. We're keeping it lifted and in line with the spine. And when we're ready, we're going to rotate, come to our side plank on the left side. Holding here, we're doing whatever we did on the other side. Here again, unless you want to try, if you didn't come into the full side plank last time, if you want to try, go for it, play with it. 1 to 2 more breaths. Keep those hips lifted. Good, and exhale. Flip back to your plank. And when we're ready, we're gonna come into that wild thing. So flip, 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 flip. Left foot extended, right foot steps as a bend in the knee. Press the hips up and forward. Right arm up and over, palm facing the ground. Holding here, 3 deep breaths. You got this, 2 more. And 1 more. Very good, and exhale. Back to plank. Send the hips up to downward facing dog. And as you exhale, bring the knees down to the width of the mat, big toes touch. Wild child's pose. And in the theme of having fun with our movement today, let's clap for ourselves by just taking your hands and pressing them into the mat like this. Yay, we did it! You did so good! You did such a good job. Congratulations. So absolutely clap for yourself right now. Give yourself that encouragement that you did amazing. And just breathe. Take 5 more deep breaths here. Feeling the effects of that practice. We have a really lovely cool down coming up. So just take those breaths. Acknowledge all the hard work again that you did today. Acknowledge the play aspect. We're going to play a little bit more before we end, so don't worry. And just rest. And in this child's pose, if you don't want to continue to extend the hands, you can always bring the forearms in and gaze down to the ground. I personally like to stack one arm on top of the other and rest my head here. I find that's really comfortable for me, but do whatever you'd like as you take your final 2 deep breaths. Amazing. Let's wrap up today's practice by lifting up through the hands, walking them into the pelvic area. You are going to lift your right foot to bring your toes to the width of the right side of the mat. Same thing for the left, and you're going to come into this garland pose. For this pose, if you're finding that if you're finding that the balance isn't really there yet, engage the core, lift and lengthen, and you can always slide a block right under the sit bone and pelvis, and use that to kind of hold you up and show the body how this pose goes, right? So, option there. Once you're comfortable with the lower half, the feet, the pelvis, sit bones all good, the hands will come to contact in prayer, and then you'll use your elbows to just press the knees away from each other to get a really lovely hip opener here. So we're gonna hold here a couple deep breaths. And having fun with movement, I like to dance a little in this pose. So to do that, I kind of sway from side to side as I close my eyes a little bit. I sing Africa by Toto to myself. I just kind of have fun. If you want to challenge yourself in this pose, totally up to you, you can come up onto your toes. Try to keep that spine from caving in, and exhale, come down again, always an option. We're playing today. We're going to come into a little bit of a twist. So the right hand is going to extend about in front of where the toes are. The left hand is going to come up and over, so the palm is facing the right as you gaze towards the left side of the room. 3 deep breaths. Amazing. Exhaling to switch sides and inhaling as you lift the opposite arm up and over. Good, you got 2 more breaths. Very good. As you exhale to come down, we will take a seat on the sit bone. Extend the legs out directly in front of us. Coming into a bit of a staff pose here. So the back is nice and straight, spine's nice and straight, the toes are flexed to the head, and the hands are placed directly above the knees. Maybe shaking the head out a little bit. We're going to inhale, lift the hands up, and as we exhale, we're going to reach forward and grab as we gently look down. We're not crunching the neck or letting it go completely. We're just doing a very passive fold forward here. And you have this fold forward for 3 deep breaths. Now we're going to do a little bit more play. So to do that, we're going to gently release. And as we bring the hands closer to body, vertebrae by vertebrae, lifting ourselves up, we're going to continue to send the spine back. Bring the hands out and in front of us, palms facing the ceiling. I think you know where this is going. We're going to sit back and lift the feet so they're on the mat first and foremost, okay? So the knees are bent, facing the ceiling, feet are planted firmly on the ground, and if you want to take this a step farther in a bow pose, this is about half bow, you can test yourself. Inhale, engage the core and lift the feet. Holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, you got this, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Don't fall down though. Bring the feet in, grab the toes and extend them. See if you can gaze forward and hold for another 10, 9, 8, 7, keep a nice straight spine, 5, 4, you got it, 3, 2, and 1. Gently release the hold, come back to that boat, place the feet on the ground, sit up nice and tall, and send the right leg down towards the top of the mat. Left foot comes right above the right knee. Inhale, lift again, and fold forward. Beautiful. Very well done. Again, not easy poses. Not easy at all. But you did amazing. It's so beautiful what happens when we show up for ourselves and try, you know, and especially have fun with it. Inhale, press up from that leg, turn to face the long edge of your mat, keeping that foot in and bent. You're going to inhale, lift the arms up. Right hand is going to reach down and grab the foot or ankle. Left hand's going to come up and over, and holding for just 3 deep breaths. If you want to try seeing if you can grab your toes, that's awesome. Otherwise, just enjoy the pose. You also don't have to reach all the way up and over. You can always reach to where you can. You can always keep this hand on this hip if the shoulder isn't feeling so great today. So really modify to how the body feels. We're going to try to play a little bit more coming into a baby wild thing. So we're going to inhale, come up, hands up. Left hand comes onto the mat. And when you're ready, you're going to inhale, press to come up onto your shins. Put that right foot on the ground. Lift up and over with the spine so the chest is facing the ceiling. Baby wild thing, 3 deep breaths. Very good. When you exhale, I make like a circle, swoosh. Come down, bring that right knee in, come to seated butterfly, and we'll do the left side. So left leg comes to the bottom of the mat, right knee is in, inhale up, exhale, fold forward. And these fold forwards, I like to imagine lifting and lengthening here and just letting my body kind of fall into them rather than trying to force poses. I never want you to feel like you have to force a pose. I want you to experience the pose and see where your body lands in it to know where to go from there, know where you want to go. You know, sometimes it's, this is perfect, sometimes it's, oh, you know, I'd like to reach a little bit further, but seeing where your body falls instead of forcing it into a pose gives you that awareness of where your body is at and what it would like in terms of support. So on the inhale, pressing up from the mat, turning again towards that long edge of the mat. coming back into that side stretch. Inhaling up again, left hand down to that foot, ankle, or whatever you can grab. Right hand is up and over. 3 deep breaths. Amazing. Pushing up. Inhaling up, hands up. We're coming back to that baby wild thing. Right hand directly above the sit bone of the right hip. Inhaling to press the right shin to the floor. Left foot is pressed into the floor as well. Left hand's up and over. Holding 3 deep breaths as you pull the hips forward, pushing the chest forward, really opening up that chest. 2 more breaths. And again on the exhale, you can come down. I like to make a big dramatic exit to swoosh down as I do. And from here, we're going to bring ourselves onto our backs with what is, in my opinion, one of the happiest poses. Happy baby. It's in the name. We're going to roll down onto the mat with our spines, kicking up each knee, grabbing each foot or ankle, whatever you can reach, and pulling the knees into the armpits. Once here, invitation to hold here or rock back and forth, playing a little bit, just a little bit. You can even bring one leg in, extend the other if you'd like, see how it feels on the other side. Just kind of really explore poses. So don't be afraid to make any movements. You are safe here to explore whatever comes up for you, okay? One more breath here. And then when you're all done, you're going to exhale. Release the feet, release the hands, and come to lay down onto the mat. Come into your corpse pose. If you find corpse pose not super comfortable for the low back, invitation to bring the feet to the width of your mat, have the knees fall into each other, placing the hands on the diaphragm on the belly, or up and over the head, whatever is comfortable for you. So in the last couple moments of this class, I will invite you to close the eyes, relax the face, relax the body, and come back to the intention of the class today and your intention. So the intention of the flow is to bring about joy in movement and to cultivate an exploration in your movement practice. So if that happened for you at any point in this practice, I just want you to reflect on how it felt to explore poses rather than force the body into a pose, into how another person does a pose. Just how did you and your body show up today? I'll invite you to focus on that for the next couple moments as we let our breath return to its natural rhythm instead of influencing, just noticing. And I will wake you when it's time to come out of it. Gently begin to bring your body back to consciousness. You can wiggle fingers, you can wiggle toes, you can wiggle your body. Start moving the face, maybe open and close the mouth gently. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And as you're ready to gently blink the eyes open, you can reach the hands up overhead, all the way up, reaching through the tips of the fingers to the tips of the toes. And as you feel called to, you can roll over to one side and take any seat that is comfortable. To end the class, we will inhale, lift our hands up overhead, holding all the energy that we cultivated for ourselves in our hands, all of that fun, explorative energy. And as we exhale, we bring that down to heart center to carry with us, not just through our practice, but through our day-to-days. And as we bow forward, we know that it is forever and can't be undone or go anywhere. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I had so much fun teaching this class, and I hope to see you again very soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye.